This is my late 1980s Mk1 Volkswagen Caddy I'm building for drag racing. I bought it from a guy who was doing a restoration on it. He had it acid dipped, and what was left of the chassis was almost unusable. A lot of rot had been hidden by years and years of fiberglass and poor repairs. I have cut away most of the unneeded metalwork, leaving me with just the outer shell of the car. This is the chassis I'm building. It has been built to SFI 25.4 regulations, which will make it class legal to run down to 7.5 second quarter miles. The structure is based around safety. This section around the seat, known as a funny car hoop, is used to protect the driver should the worst happen at very high speeds involved in racing. Weight is very important. It's a waste of power using it to get a heavy car moving. However, weight is also very important to push the wheels down to give traction. I'm building the car as light as possible, and then I'll be able to add weight later and make sure that the weight is in the places that I need it. So why front-wheel drive? I'm currently filming a short documentary about why I and others like front-wheel drive drag racing and why it is gaining such popularity quickly. So if you subscribe now, right now, go on, press the button, you won't miss the film when I release it. This is a solid rear beam for the back of the car. With two coilover shock absorbers, this, I feel, is the best way to control the rear end of a front-wheel drive drag car. This car will never be able to go around corners fast. Anyone who tells you they are building a car to use for a road course and drag race will end up with a car which will never excel in either. The weight bias and geometry needed are completely different. This beam axle is chromoly. The hubs are very lightweight aluminium, thin brake discs and calipers from a motorbike. The rear brakes are only used to hold the car still on the start line. The front brakes alone will stop the car. These are the tyres I'm using. It's a 15-inch wheel with a 10-inch wide and 26-inch tall tyre. I've made the track of the car as narrow as I can to try and keep as much tyre underneath the arch as possible, but it's not easy. This is double wishbone suspension at the front. This might well be a good time to point out that I don't actually know what I'm talking about. Most of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm just guessing or making it up as I go along. But it's fun. From the front view, both wishbones are parallel, so at any point in the travel, the camber angle will be the same, giving me the most tyre contact patch at all times. From the side, the front mount of the top wishbone is adjustable. This allows me to dial in suspension geometry called anti-squat and anti-lift. This is used to control weight transfer and will be dialed in to give the most traction possible. With space at a premium, I've opted to fit the coilover shock absorbers inboard of the car. Instead of the shock attaching at the wishbone, this push rod is attached to the rocker arm, which is in turn attached to the shock. As well as freeing up space, it creates a system which is more tunable, as well as taking weight away from the wishbone, leaving it able to react a little bit faster. This is a DQ250 gearbox. It's from a Mark V Golf R32. It is dual clutch, meaning it has two separate clutches, one for gears 1, 3 and 5, and one for gears 2, 4 and 6. It is electronically controlled and allows the gearbox to have the next gear ready selected and ready to go. It shifts gear much faster than any human possibly could. This is my 12-valve VR6 engine, 2.8 litres. The bottom end is completely stock other than ARP bolts. The head is also standard, other than 288 cat cams. It runs on ethanol with 2200cc injectors. Using this 67mm Borg Warner turbo, when on the dyno it made 618 horsepower at 30 psi. The engine has seen well over 40 psi, so I estimate the power is well into the 700s or higher.
Yo, you know you're only a 10-second car, right?
What's his problem? I can't tell you when the car's going to be finished, but I chip away at it a small amount each week, and eventually I'll get there. Thank you for watching.